I'm Alex.
I'm James.
I'm Lewis.
And I'm Dan.
We're the Ragamuffins.
And this is our recap of Download Festival 2024. Right, so I think we start right from the beginning. Kind of throw back to last year. We had, as well as kind of everyone else, I think, a horrible experience getting there. So we made the right decision. We had an Airbnb the night before to make the journey a hell of a lot easier.
In fairness, I think even without doing that, it would have been an easy journey anyway. Like there was no
True.
way it was going to be as busy as it was last year. But just to be on the safe side and still to like save ourselves a proper early wake up in the morning, we stayed about half an hour away from the festival site, didn't we?
Yeah, it was
and it's
quite
definitely
nice.
worth doing.
Oh, 100%. It was just nice to have the group together, I think, as well, for like a night beforehand, just kind of mix and have a couple of drinks, have a little bit of banter and stuff like that.
Gave us a great little opportunity to introduce Josh as well.
We did. Introduce
Alex, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, you had a little surprise. Josh didn't know you were coming. You can see that in the vlog. Yeah, quite wholesome, quite sweet. And then we got up nice and early, had some lovely bacon baps courtesy of Lewis.
We did, yeah. We went to the corner shop the night before and got us some nice bacon and some rolls.
Beautiful stuff.
Nice bacon's my favourite kind of bacon.
Yeah, we like nice bacon.
Yeah.
None of this bad bacon.
And then we got to Download Festival, probably the earliest we've ever got there.
Definitely. I mean, the gates hadn't even opened.
The PTSD going down the roads that we were stuck at for 12 hours last year. It was all happy and jolly in the car until about 2 miles before we got to the car park,
Hearing boom, boom,
and then
boom, boom.
our car went silent, and it was just every single point where we got stuck last time. We were like, "Is it going to happen again? Is it going to happen again?"
And then it was like, "Oh, we're here."
We were just parked up when we were there. Lovely.
Nice and easy to get in. We unload the cars and everything. We get into the queue, and just the vibe started. I think a lot of excitement, a lot of build up. I think we're there.
I mean, yeah, there's some excitement, but then
quickly turned into.
Then we had to wait.
Then
we had to wait for the gates to open.
It was only like an hour wait though. I think there was talk of us having to wait until 12 to even get through the gates. So everyone was sort of like, "Have we sort of swapped the problem around here?" But no, we only sat around for like 45 minutes to an hour. People were shotgunning inside us and having a sing song and a laugh. So it was all right. We just sort of had a sit down and a chill.
Gates opened, and we had a little throwback for us. We went and camped in purple this year after the long walks to blue before and everything.
What a choice that was.
We kind of saw a hill and was like, you know what? I think it was me for the most part, to be fair, was like, I can't be asked to walk much longer. There's a big hill. If it's going to rain, it will go down the hill. It
would have been another 25-minute walk to where we usually camp. And I think, all in all, where we camped this year was actually way better than where we've camped before.
Yeah, lovely spot. Agree. Absolutely lovely spot.
The kings of purple camp.
We are definite purple camp converts, aren't we?
I think I would go to purple again.
100%. I mean,
given Purple Camp a 5-star review on TripAdvisor.
Yeah. Given the weather of the weekend, which we will get into like as it progressed, I guess. But straight off the top, though, the fact that our walk from our camp to all the way to the arena being like
hard
on some sort of hard surface was like a blessing.
Yeah, we were maybe 10 meters away from the metal gridding. Where we were camped, so and that was the only bit we had to walk on that wasn't hard standing.
To be fair, I've seen a lot of reviews that in terms of the pathways around various camps were a lot better. Maybe kind of predicting, knowing the weather was going to be the way it went. It did seem that there were improvements made with that in particular, with it in mind, which is good to see. Did hear about some things like eco were a little bit iffy at places, but for the most part, I think they did a good job with that in preparation for it. While kind of on the subject, jumping ahead ever so slightly, I've seen some good things from people who were kind of needed the accessibility for in the arena as well. Much better with pathways going between places, especially with the weather.
If you could find the path.
If you could find the path amongst the mud.
Yeah, eventually it all sort of turned into one, didn't it?
It did eventually.
Like you didn't really realise you were on the path until you weren't 6 inches deep in mud.
Exactly. But like nice to see that Download making the effort there in particular, knowing the weather that's happening, going on complaints they've had before and actually addressing it, making improvements and making the standards better for it.
So really, once we were all set up, I mean, we've talked about the weather, but I mean, and one of the headlines of the weekend is how muddy it was. But Wednesday was lovely for the most part. I got sunburnt.
So did I a little bit. To be fair,
I think all of us got a little bit sunburned.
Yeah,
I know Emily did.
Yeah, like
she looked like this microphone by then.
Kind of surprised at how nice it was there, but it was beautiful to have, and I think we all looked at forecasts and we knew what was coming, so just make the most of what you can.
Well, just setting up and getting your bearings when it's not absolutely tipping it down makes such a difference. If you can get your tent up and all your gear inside without it getting wet, you're laughing. It can rain as much as it bloody wants then. As long as you're in the right place, you're happy.
To be fair as well, I think, like, of all the downloads I've done, this has been, like, the easiest setup day. This has been the easiest it's ever been to get into the camp, to be set up. I mean, we were sort of sat around the camp under the gazebo at, what?
I think 11:30.
Yeah.
It was before,
maybe earlier than that.
midday.
I think. Earlier than that.
It was definitely before midday, because I remember, like, turning around to everyone and just being like, I've cracked a can open, the tent's all set up, and it's way before midday. And the weird bit of surprising, I think, just talking throughout the day was like, oh, it's only 3 o'clock. It feels like it should be 8 o'clock.
I was almost too relaxed.
Yeah.
I was a bit like, what do now?
Well, we sort of figured out that you could have gone back to bed and had an 8-hour kip and still got up with plenty of time to then go to the doghouse and still have a full night out. So you can't, what else do you want?
Yeah. So I think after that, like, a bit of wander around, check out Village, which has been changed up a little bit. Felt smaller.
It did. It felt like there was less, but what was there was, like, nicer.
Yeah, I did like how it was set up. Kind of, we'll get into it with the early days in a minute, but like the food contest they had on, some of the displays they had and around Village, the way it kind of curved around differently compared to just running down the hill.
I think
quite like that.
We'd also seen it differently because we're coming in from the other side.
Yeah,
usually
true.
where we'd come from Blue, we'd have to go through the first bit that's up the hill with stuff each side. But this time it was only slightly uphill for maybe 5 minutes, and then we're in District X. So
exactly, and it was lovely to have doghouse under tent again, especially with the weather.
I don't know.
You know what?
I can't agree.
I prefer open air.
Shipping container doghouse with the 2 stages. There's
better.
something special about it.
And I don't know why, because usually
with the weather,
being in a tent,
I think it'd be better even if it was raining.
Yeah, usually
Genuinely.
being in a tent holds
Okay,
holds the atmosphere and the noise in. But there was something about that year at the doghouse where it was open that was just so fun.
And like even stuff like having the food like vendors and the beer and stuff all along that whole edge.
I did like that.
I think that's part of it, because like if you leave to go like to the toilet or get food or to the bar or whatever,
Yeah, you've left.
you've left the atmosphere. But also, like, it's a weird thing where if the vibes aren't popping off in the tent,
You've got
you
nowhere
really
else to go.
feel it. Like, you
Well,
it just feels so flat.
Having the shipping container system with the 2 stages.
That was nice.
If you're vibing away and then go, I fancy a bit of a change, I'll go see what's going on at the other stage. Go down there and see what's going on there. I think the only way they could get around it would be to have like another version of the doghouse at the Den.
Yeah,
You know,
I do think they have like karaoke. and
There's some
silent
stuff in there,
discos
but
and
it's not
stuff,
like the
but-
same thing
Back
that
and
they.
forth through different sets. But I think that was it for the most bit. The first day, doghouse, lovely night out.
And you know what? It was pretty much the same on the Thursday. Apart from, like, for starters, it absolutely tipped it down with rain for like 12 hours. So we pretty much spent most of the time just like sheltering, just sat at camp,
Chilling around camp, have a few drinks,
doing sweet fuck all, which is nice. It's like, I think that's what we missed last year. Is obviously we've mentioned the problems of sort of arriving late on the Wednesday and being straight into live bands on the Thursday. Whereas this year we had plenty of time on the Wednesday. Thursday we had a whole day just to chill out. And I think it's one of the best things about doing the early entry is just having that whole day on a Thursday.
Where in theory you could just stay in your tent all
you
day.
can do whatever. You can do
nothing.
whatever. You've got no pressure to be anywhere.
Yep.
There's stuff going on at the village if you want to go down there and check
Really
it out.
interesting stuff as well. Like we went to the chili eating contest
So
and
the chili
the hot
eating,
dogs.
which I love the chili eating.
Chili eating
You
was so
got
good.
well into the chili eating with the charms.
Chop those chilies.
I think he more like, what was the other one?
Suck that spoon.
You got
Suck
really
that
into that. You loved that. That was a really, really fun watch. The hot dog one on day 2, we only watched that one. Was a little bit.
It sort
meh.
of dived because the chili eating contest was so good.
Yeah.
That the hot dog one felt a little bit forced and a bit weird.
I think because like hearing that day 1, the guy who won it just smashed it out the park so quickly, they had to drag it on because I think they had like a half an hour slot.
Yeah.
So it's like I can understand what happened with that. We went and got some free steak.
Was that on the Thursday or the Friday? That was Thursday. wasn't it?
Thursday. You convinced me to come to Tubby Tom's.
Big up Tubby Tom.
I literally you were going to go, and I turned around to you and I was like, "Is there a chance of free food?"
There might be some free food, James. So
and it being free steak, that is very interesting. So went there, had glorious steak. To be fair, it was really good.
them crispy onions were another level.
They were great. It's just like these little things around download that maybe haven't seen before or gone to, or even like first year doing it. That just made it really, really fun and different. It just added to the experience, which I think is so nice.
I did like the Outpost. That was a nice addition, I think. Which is where all these competitions and things were. They showed the football at one point as well.
Yep.
And then it was opposite. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a pub.
The Ace of Spades Tavern.
That was it.
That's it.
They had like
bingo
and karaoke and stuff going on in there, which I don't think any of us actually went to. But
I walked past the bingo.
Just
And
another
it sounds like
option
they're having
that's
fun.
Yeah.
I always thought, we should go to that, and then, that was yesterday. Okay. We just seem to just miss it.
So, that was 2 hours ago.
We're just having too much fun ourselves, really, aren't we?
We were having amazing fun. I mean, that was basically the early days. Get the early days out the way. It then comes to music. There were a couple of us that went down early straight away for Hannah on the main stage.
Very, very good.
Hella fun. Kind of like saw it on TikTok, I think, a few days beforehand, and was like, oh, you know what? If it doesn't clash, I'll go watch it.
I'd never heard of them, but they were very, very good.
Really, really enjoyed it. Hella fun experience. And then we went to...
I've got some notes.
We went to TX2 afterwards.
Let's not talk about that.
Which I think there's like one vocal line, and then we were like, let's go watch Froze Mode instead.
I've seen some things online after.
Yeah, I've seen that for the first time in a few years, bottles had been thrown.
It seems to all be videos of people booing and doing some hand gestures and shouting things.
But why go?
I think that's probably the reason. It's probably like a morbid curiosity thing.
Well, yeah, for you guys it is, but like some people...
I didn't even... I just saw that there was a band on, and I walked in and went, what's this? And
some people went there with genuine like hatred and like
just a bit
intent to like essentially protest.
It's just a bit sad, isn't it?
Like, just don't go.
The best protest is just give him an empty tent.
Yeah, if you don't go, the tent's going to be empty and he's going to be embarrassed. Yeah. So there you go.
That's even better.
Anyway, I know nothing about TX2 other than apparently he's a shitty person and is apparently quite shit.
And a massive poser, apparently.
And so we went to Froze Mode, which I really, really enjoyed. It gave me a lot of new metal, modern vibes, a bit like Black Gold.
I said that, didn't I? I was like, this is giving me real big Black Gold vibes.
100%. Really, really enjoyable. I couldn't really take my eyes off the stage.
So much energy on stage as well.
3 vocalists absolutely fucking killed it. And just, found that really, really fun. And then I forget where we went, so we're going to go to your list.
I've got Mouth Culture.
Yeah, I think the rest of us joins now and saw Mouth Culture, who were a band I've seen the name around for a while. I've been listening to their stuff sort of on and off. Very good band. I think there's a lot of buzz around them, and quite rightly. And I think they showed that with this set as well. It was a really, really fun set to watch, and I was really impressed. And happy to finally see them live.
I know that Josh and Mon then went to go see Those Same Crows, or is that the band? Those Damn Crows.
They were on before, I think, actually.
So I think they were watching.
In fact, actually, they were on as we entered the arena to see Mouth Culture, and I was impressed to see so much pyro and production on the main stage so early on.
So early on, yeah.
Like we walked through the main arena gates and we're just greeted by flames immediately. Which that's gutsy for.
That's also one hell of a way to get introduced to the main arena.
So we went to Defects.
Yeah, we did.
We missed them when they played Oxford on the Of Mice and Men bill.
There was some sound issues, but from what we heard, they were very good.
It was very good. Meanwhile, you went off to Dream State.
I went to Dream State. Friends of the podcast. Check out our Perfect Gig episode with Jessie, one of our favourite ones, I think. Mm-hmm. And in it, she mentions that she doesn't drink. Her like on-stage ritual is to just down a bottle of Fanta and get out there. And you could tell she had her Fanta before this set, because I mean, we saw them burn it down and they like blew the roof off. And we saw them in Oxford. They weren't as great. Maybe some sound issues. Maybe just the crowd not being as responsive.
It was more the crowd than anything.
I think it's probably more the crowd.
There's just something about it. It just sort of went. Ooh.
Yeah, but seeing them at this download set just brought them like back up to their best. I think
some of the footage I've seen looked insane.
Yeah, the crowd were really responsive. The Avalanche tent was absolutely rammed, which is amazing to see early on in the day.
It also wouldn't be the last time that weekend that
you're right.
The Avalanche tent was rammed.
But yeah, they absolutely smashed it. and they said themselves one of the best days of their lives.
Where were you at?
Set.
Polyphia, that was a set that I kind of had like little to no interest in actually going to. It was sort of like, I think I've said on the podcast a few times that style of like instrumental, like super technical, crazy music, like to me seems a bit like overly self-serving and not at the benefit of the listener, which is an opinion that I've changed on because I was so blown away by their set.
It was one of my favourite sets of the week.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how fun it was as a listener and as a watcher to just be like taking all of that in. I really thought that I would like watch one song and go, fuck this.
As a musician as well, it was like just impressive.
Yeah,
it was like
they're so tight and they're so polished. It's unbelievable.
I found myself like trying to spot them make a bum note, but I didn't see a single one.
Like, the musicianship was incredible, and I just completely got into. I wasn't sure. I think I was looking forward to it more than you, but I wasn't still sure what to expect, and I completely vibed with it. It was fantastic. Just kind of hearing little things they would do musically, which were like, okay, that's really exciting. Like at one point, I still remember they went from like a 4/4 triplet beat into 6/8, and I was just like,
nerd.
I love this. Hey, you know what I'm talking about. I absolutely loved it, and it just kind of like scratched that almost slightly like prog part of my brain,
that creative itch.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, I like that. I see what you're doing.
Every single bar,
it.
something happens where your brain goes, oh, I like that. Oh,
I
like that.
Really, really impressive performance. Yeah, actually really surprised me and blew me away.
It just looks so relaxed while they're doing it as well. They're doing these...
And they look like they're having a great time.
Yeah, he just looks like he's happy to be there. Just... And it's just... Oh. And we were saying every single time that they zoomed in on Tim's right hand, it's so relaxed. He's just doing these insane sweep picks, and it's just like he's not even trying. It's just unbelievable.
Effortless.
Yeah.
Effortless. Where were you boys next?
What did I go next?
I sadly missed Vicovi
yet
again. Because I had to go and see soft play. Because firstly, they're great, and I'm really glad I saw them again. Because this is one of my favourite sets of the weekend. They just seemed like they were having again. Like if a band's having fun on stage, then I'll have fun in the crowd, whether I know them or not. And although I know soft play pretty well, like they were having so much fun on and off the stage, and yeah, it was just great. The new song sounded excellent as well, particularly Mirror Muscles. That was a lot of fun. Lots of mosh pits for that.
Yeah, the whole crowd was going crazy for it as well.
I think what's been exciting about that band is like a lot of this newer stuff that they're doing. The drums are starting to like vary up in what Isaac's playing.
Definitely,
a lot of the older stuff is very much like kind of the same drum beat.
Well,
to keep a pulse. Do you know what I mean? Whereas these new songs really felt like he's doing a lot more. You know, it's no Polyphia, but do you know what I mean? Like by the standards of what soft play have done in the past, it's a lot more like intricate and a lot more.
Well, he even says, doesn't he? Like, I'm not a drummer. Yeah. Like he literally did it at the start just so they could get on stage and start playing. Whereas now it feels like they're actually using it to push the music more.
And just not only to be able to like play and sing like that, but to do it with the intensity that he does, the whole set, like had me pumped. So yeah.
No wonder he's so ripped.
The pump.
The pump.
So I think I went Calloused Boys at this point. I don't know. I watched like some live videos beforehand and maybe built it up to be something very special, but to me it kind of fell a little bit flat. Maybe the sound wasn't great. Kind of like the gimmick part of it, if you will, is the violin. Could not hear it.
Couldn't hear it. I think it didn't help that Josh had sort of gone, you need to go, they're really good.
It was built up.
Well, no, I was behind that hype as well. Like they are a good band, and I was excited to see them. But I only saw a couple of songs towards the end of the set. But again, it felt a bit meh.
Yeah.
Oh, they were good.
Yeah,
they were pumped. But
however,
it fell a little short. I think my expectations.
I stayed in there for Make Them Suffer afterwards.
Yes, we did.
And that was absolutely incredible and probably one of my favourite sets of the day. We'll get to my favourite set a bit later on. But it was really enjoyable. The pit was a lot of fun with it. Again, I think after seeing them support Stray last year, I just realised I knew a lot more songs than I thought. And then after that, just kind of diving into it more, I really have kind of like enjoyed their music. So this was definitely a set that I wanted to go to, and yeah, I absolutely bloody loved it.
Yeah, I feel like Make Them Suffer are one of them bands that's just on every playlist. Like if you just search metalcore playlist, they're gonna be on there, and it always just slaps. And the amount of times I've been just on a random playlist on Spotify and gone, "Oh, it's really good. What is this?" Looked and gone, "Oh, it's Make Them Suffer. Of course it is." So yeah, I ended up knowing most of the songs without realizing that I knew most of the songs that they did. But yeah, they were just brilliant.
Where were you at?
I was having some dinner and sort of vaguely paying attention to.
How many dinners did you have?
A lot.
And you didn't have any food poisoning?
Nope.
That's something we'll come on to.
We'll get to that.
Sucks to be you. No, I'm joking.
I didn't get it.
No.
Oh, them. Sucks to be you. And you.
No, I've had food poisoning and it is the worst.
Yeah, I saw
They were all right.
one of the bit Raw Blood songs.
Fair enough.
Because
I saw
they had
most of Raw
some
Blood.
severe technical issues.
Really?
Yeah. They played like one
Yeah.
song and went off and then came back on.
They were off for about 5 minutes.
What I
as
did
well.
hear sounded good, but
If I was them, I'd have been very annoyed.
They were very annoying.
I don't know what was going on, but yeah, they played the first song and then they had to go off, and he was like, "Really sorry, we don't know what's going on, but we've got to leave." And they came back on, carried on playing. I think they got a whole song out and then started playing the third song, and halfway through the first verse, they stopped it dead, and he just walked off with his guitar, and I watched him mouth to the guitar tech, "It's fucking out of tune." So they had to tune it up, and then they came on and then restarted the song. Shit. What they did play was amazing. They sounded sounded so good, and
I think
which I knew they were going to, because they're known for being amazing live. But
that's the thing that I don't think they are known for being amazing live. I think Royal Blood have got a really bad reputation and a bad rap. I think people don't give them the credit they deserve. I think they're a decent band. I don't love them by any means.
I don't think that it's their
really
performance
decent.
that is the issue. I think it's like their sort of perceived attitude around it.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
as musicians, they're spot on. It's just that they sort of had a bumpy ride on the way.
So while you were there, I started to make my way to Avalanche because I knew the tent was going to be fucking packed.
So this is why I left Royal Blood early, because I thought that busted tent's going to be rammed.
It is.
Better get over there nice and early. And we were there an hour before they started, and it was already so full.
While Wheatus were
still on.
So I managed to, while Wheatus were in their set, probably with half an hour left to go.
Also, probably the biggest crowd Wheatus has ever had.
Probably,
I was about to say that. Yeah, Wheatus would have been delighted to have busted on after them.
I managed to. Me and Em were together, and I looked at her and I was like, right, I'm gonna make a pathway. Stay close because we're getting in that bloody tent. She was like, yep, okay. So we got in there.
She told me before she made like a decision in her brain. Then she was like, follow James.
Yeah, exactly. I kept looking back and she was like, yeah, keep going. So got in there. Wheatus were all right. I never really listened to their music. They did a really, really long, elongated version of Teenage Dirtbag, which
of course they did.
Went on for ages. They started bringing out rappers.
I'm surprised that wasn't their whole set.
Oh my Christ! It dragged on. It went off in the 10. A lot of people singing, obviously, as you would expect. But once that quickly dissipated, some of the crowd started to go, pushing further forward. Got to where like the first pillars are in there.
That is really impressive, by the way. That is really impressive that you got that close.
I looked at it. There was one guy that followed us as well, and he's like, I can see you're going in. Can I follow? And I was like, yeah, stay close.
You're like the Pied Piper of busted fans.
I can see you're getting picked.
Yeah, I literally was. But he looked and he was like, are you going in? And I was like, oh. I looked him dead in the eye and I was like, we're getting in. So we did that.
We're getting picked.
Getting picked.
I'm getting picked.
Getting picked.
Managed to get a really good spot, and then after a few songs a pit started opening up, which was wonderful. So I took that opportunity to run straight through it and got even closer. I got to relive my childhood. I had the happiest time of my life. It was my highlight of Friday to hear so many of these songs that were so crucial to my childhood.
Didn't they do a Hanson cover?
Yeah, they did. Mbop.
I thought so.
It's on their like greatest hits kind of thing. It actually went off. They said like, oh, we're going to play the poppiest song Downloader's ever gonna hear, and it
brilliant.
Went off. It was amazing. Thunderbirds was fucking incredible. You Said No was amazing. There was a kind of mini circle pit for that. They did Thunderbirds. He literally was like, I think it was Charlie said, do you want to hear a song about some puppets from the 1960s? And the massive cheer. It was fantastic. I had the time of my life. Got my crowd surf in during year 3000 at the end. Yeah, Highlight of my Friday right there.
By the way, they're working on a new album with Jordan Fish. And they've said it's going to be, I can't remember the exact wording, but not what you'd expect.
And experimental.
A bit experimental.
Which I'm very excited for.
Which could mean it's a metalcore album.
Or it could...
Metalcore busted, I will lose my shit.
It could be a trap album as well. You never know.
You never know.
Don't kill this for me.
You don't know.
Metalcore busted, mate.
You don't know
Metalcore
with
busted.
old Fishy. Meanwhile, Alex and I were at Highland.
Well, yeah, I mean...
And I mean, it's not our thing, but I'm kind of glad we went and saw it.
I'm glad I saw it, and fair enough. But
So it was a
It
experience.
is what it
it is what it
is.
is.
I mean, like, if Sleep Token are going to call their shows rituals, they need to see this.
Yeah.
Like,
This was a real ritual.
This genuinely was a real, like, felt like an actual, like, pagan ritual.
I think also as well, it didn't help, like, I was so annoyed about the state of trying to get into the Avalanche tent that, like, every second that I was stood at High Lung, and it's not their fault, I was just, like, seething with anger that I was just like,
See,
why am I
should have come with me.
I'm watching this when I should be there.
I like the idea of you seething with anger while there's just someone with a, like, deer horns on their head, like, just spraying incense around the stage.
Yeah, it's supposed like a pagan ritual is supposed to be like spreading positivity.
Yeah.
And you're there like, I want to be watching busted.
This fucking sucks. I don't know.
Play Year 3000.
I've been thinking about it more since we've left. Like, obviously, Bad Omens dropped out, and there was lots of talk in that time between them dropping out and Funeral for a Friend's announcement, where people were theorising about who could replace them, and like one of the first things that we said was move Busted.
You
into
put
that
busted on the
spot.
second stage.
You see, yeah.
Because the experience that I
No.
had is never going to happen
You would
again.
have had that experience on the second
Nah,
stage
to
with
be in the
more
tent,
room.
though, in there,
But
nah.
what-
Better.
what's everyone talking about right now? Did you see Busted? Did you manage to get in to see
Managed to
Busted?
get in,
I did.
It's a marketing thing. I think Busted will play again next year on the second stage.
They were talking about it, and like there were points where it was like, "Who would have fucking thought we'd play Download?" And then
And it'll be a bit of like a, we heard you, we've put Busted on a bigger stage.
I think
It's deliberate. They've deliberately put them on
They
the
were talking
smaller
about
I
stage.
going
get,
back as
but
well.
it's
Yeah.
deliberately fucked me off. So.
deliberately made me very happy.
Bullshit. Also, I don't know. There's a part of me that also thinks, like, from a health and safety perspective, like,
Well, did anybody get hurt?
No,
Alex's heart
my
was hurt.
feelings.
Alex's heart was broken.
I don't know. It seems a little bit risky to have that many people trying to get into like one space.
Well, they had the same thing the year before with Electric Callboy.
We've had it with Spirit Box before
Yep.
as well in 22. Like it happens when you've got
Yeah.
bands. who
I
are
didn't
blowing
even
up
notice it
and
was
stuff.
busy for Spirit Box.
I don't know why I'm grumbling.
'Cause we were in there.
Yeah,
And we were
Yeah, you
watching
saw them.
And with Spirit Box, I don't think I looked behind me at any point, but I hadn't realised that there was like a big surge for everyone to see it.
I know, like, but from inside the tent as well, you could look out and see the rows and rows of people like outside the tent.
Yeah.
Oh, made me so happy.
Well, so me and Monica walked sort of like where you guys were going to meet after at the ice cream van outside the Avalanche stage. So we were like, oh, we're not that bothered about trying to squeeze in, and we sort of had a look, and it was unbelievable. So then we sort of went up past the second stage, sort of like listening to a bit of High Lung. Is it High Lung?
yeah.
And I sort of like walked through the little shopping area and the food area and did like a little loop just while we were waiting for Busted to finish. But as soon as it finished, the sea of people that just dissipated from out of that
Oh, it's
place.
madness.
It was you know like them clown cars where there's like way more people inside.
That's a very niche in joke.
Incredible.
Watch back our old download vlogs and see if you can find
you
that
might
reference.
spot it.
We all seem to
But,
reconvene.
Yeah, we
afterwards.
lifted Alex's spirits by taking him to see Funeral for a Friend.
Yeah, well, listen, you know what? I'm a huge Funeral for a Friend fan, and I love Lucas Woodland as well. So, but I still had reservations about them being in that spot. I was worried that
I did
know,
too.
I didn't
Yeah.
think they would be able to pack out a crowd, and I was very, very pleased to be proved wrong.
And they didn't just pack out the crowd; they put on a headliner performance as well.
Oh my
Christ,
god,
the production.
The production was incredible,
Especially on short notice.
Yeah.
I don't know if they already have some kind of like production plan for like a headline tour or something, but to have that kind to put on like that kind of headline show on that short notice is really, really impressive.
And I mean, it. You know, a part of me is like, it's a shame that it wasn't Matt, the original vocalist, there. But if there was anyone in the world to replace him,
Yeah.
Lucas Woodland is just an absolute perfect choice.
He just seemed so happy to be there as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
like I think
Well,
two or three times he was like, I grew up listening to this stuff.
Well, yeah,
I was 8 when this came out.
You can tell that he loves that band as well,
Yeah.
and that he was like genuinely like.
And Charlie from
amazed that he
Busted
gets
came
to
out
front
as
them.
well.
Yeah.
Literally must have
Which
sprinted
Lucas,
over
I saw
afterwards.
Lucas being like,
Well, which-
that was insane.
So
Like, I'm on stage with Funeral for a Friend, and the singer from Busted turns up on stage as well.
Absolutely incredible.
I think on reflection, maybe my favourite set of the day.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Soft Play. Soft Play were a lot of fun, but just the joy that I had from watching Funeral for a Friend was like.
Well, just hearing
Crazy,
you and Sam
yeah.
singing along behind
You were like
is what
bouncing
made
along to like
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year.
Oh, it was so good.
So mine would have been Busted. Favourite set of the day?
Soft play.
I think Polyphia.
Polyphia was
Genuinely.
amazing. It was right
just,
up there.
just from watching it
Down,
from
down,
a musician
down.
standpoint, it was just unbelievable.
100%.
I could have done it.
And
I don't disagree then.
and we didn't bother with Queens of the Stone Age.
I saw like
Yeah.
a bit of like one and a bit songs.
I
and
heard No One Knows on the way back.
that's very
Yeah,
underwhelmed.
me too.
Yeah, true.
That's about it.
I get the online consensus seems to be a bit underwhelmed as well. No real show, no real production, just dudes.
Yeah, well, all I've seen is it
playing.
didn't really feel like a headline set. It just more
Yeah.
felt like they were just doing a slot, and that was it.
I mean, we'll talk about a band later on who should have been a headliner, but Queens of the Stone Age, upon reflection, really are no bit to me. They cap out as like sub-headliner or second stage headliner. I don't think they proved themselves to be worthy.
I think they
of
deserve.
filling
I think they
that spot.
deserved a shot at it, but
Yeah,
and I mean we can't really comment because we didn't really see enough of the set.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
from what I've read online, they didn't really deliver.
So that was our Friday. Had a night out at Doghouse, which was eventful.
Doghouse.
I got dressed up as Wario.
You did some great photos of
And I
that.
got annoyed at every other person going wah wah, and yeah, that gets and I think the most annoying thing about it was every single person that did it obviously thought they were the first person that had done it that
Yeah,
night.
and you're like, yeah, I've heard this about 20 times. So I think it was a little bit of a lie in the morning.
I was just as Toad, but I had a worrying amount of people go, "It's the Mushroom Man."
Mushroom Man.
Incredible. So yeah, I had a big night out. The energy I got, which kind of like really kickstarted the day, was going to see Bleed From Within.
Yes.
I think they were fantastic. We saw them supporting.
Can we rewind?
Trivium?
Can we rewind a bit first? Like, I would have loved to have gone and seen Harriet,
yeah.
Yeah,
but
they sounded
Download.
great from where we were though.
download. Why are you putting bands on at 11 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah,
It didn't.
terrible.
If it hadn't have been absolutely tipping down, we'd have probably gone. Let's be
I
honest.
was still in bed, I think.
I don't know. I didn't feel.
I still don't
I didn't
know.
feel awake enough to go and see a band.
When it's like, even I'm thinking back to last year at Trees. I wanted to see Witch Fever, who played main stage at midday. Right, I think
Still one of my favourite moments.
and
You just
to the point where
It's like 11:55.
it was 11:55 and I woke up and I made it to the start of the set.
Yeah.
You just
And
appeared
that's
out
a
of your
stretch-
tent.
and that's a
though.
stretch for Trees where you can hear the main stage from your tent. If you think I'm getting up to hike to the arena for 11 o'clock, in fact, pre 11 o'clock, because security seems
You got
to
to be
on the
there.
go
You
side
actually
of
got
the
to get to the
fucking day.
stage, didn't you?
Yeah. Crazy.
And
So-
to be
that-
fair,
that-
we have seen Harriet
Oh, no,
many
I love
times.
Harriet.
Yeah,
before,
I mean,
and we love them.
If I'd never seen Harriet before, I probably would have gone to the set.
Yeah.
but
We're going to see him again.
yeah,
We've seen him
It's
loads
inevitable.
before.
Seen 'em
we,
bloody
we love Harriet. Everyone knows that.
And so we all ended up going pretty much to Bleed From Within to start off. Like I said, we saw them support Trivium in Oxford, and they were fantastic then. I definitely need to start listening to their music more.
I think
'Cause they deserve
they're
it,
another
they're
one that they're always on a playlist.
A lot of metalcore
Like,
playlists.
I don't ever specifically go to them, but whenever I do stumble across them, love it.
Yeah.
Sick, innit?
I was impressed with the production they had for it as well. They brought out Rob
they did
and
suffer.
Ramesh.
They were one of the many bands over the weekend that suffered from some technical difficulties, as,
Yep.
as did Harriet, who were on a little bit before them.
Yeah,
In fact, yeah, again, Harriet apparently played only 3 songs.
Shit.
So,
Really? Oh
Mm.
god.
not ideal.
so
because
it's,
Bleed
it's,
had
it's
like a
maybe a good, it's
25
maybe a
minute
good job we didn't
wait,
make the
didn't
trip.
The Rob and Ramesh
Oh,
collaboration
so
for Enter
good.
Sandman
That was
was good
brilliant, to be
fun.
It was so good. Like, I could see them enjoying themselves at the side of
Yeah.
the stage from the start, and then at the
They
end,
looked like they were
when-
shitting themselves.
I thought they looked like they were enjoying it, and then
nailed it though.
at the end when we all thought, oh, they haven't got enough time. He's like, oh, we've got some friends here, and it was like the whole crowd was just like, yeah, and they absolutely smashed it.
It was fantastic. Really, really enjoyed that. Did any of you go and see Frank Carter?
Yeah,
I did.
I did.
How was it?
Good.
I mean, he put on a main stage show, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not the best time I've seen Frank Carter.
Yeah, I agree.
But still good.
My favourite time for Frank Carter was still 2000 Trees.
Mm.
That was like the best. Like, and he headlined.
You're in a happy place at that point.
It was what a day that day was. But it was. I've seen him 4 times now, I think, and this was like maybe second or third best. But yeah, it was. They'll always put on a great show, I think.
Yeah, he definitely has like the confidence and the aura of like almost like headline worthy frontman. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
whether or not
I think
they
it will
can
happen
build themselves
one
up
day.
like the legacy to do it would be really interesting because
He headlined the pilot, didn't he?
he definitely has the crowd like in the palm of his hand when he's on the stage, and everyone seems to be having a
He knows
lot
what
of
he's
fun.
doing. Yeah.
Definitely knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to jump in the crowd,
Yeah.
go crazy, have a go at people that are being idiots. Like,
Did see
Yeah.
he jumped in the
Someone
crowd and someone nicked his chain and
Yeah.
stuff, and someone was
Did-
nicking sunglasses.
did you see the girl filming and the guy that nicked his necklace was stood next to her?
The download Facebook group, they've got like photos of this guy, so there's a
He's-
witch hunt to try and
if
find
you're
him.
wa-
now.
you're that guy,
You're a
get
piece
his-
of shit.
Yes, 1, you are a piece of shit, and 2, give his necklace back.
Give it
He will
back.
find you.
He's had that thing for like I think I saw him say he had it for like 10 years,
Yeah.
and that now he sacrifices at the download pit. But if it was you, give
Tell
it
him.
back, knobhead.
I think we all kind of reconvened after that for Baby Metal,
Baby
Yeah.
Metal.
which was
Which-
another one plagued with fucking issues.
This was a real shame.
This was probably the main one that
This
was
is purely
hit,
weather.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really disappointing. I was looking forward to it so much, and then as I kind of got there, that first song kind of cut out.
Well,
which was like an intro even. They didn't really get into anything.
It was
And
like
they were off for about 10, 15
it was like a
minutes.
6-minute like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Like which they always do. They do their choreography, and it's like, yeah, let's go. And ironically, the song, the first words they sing is "Stop the power, stop the power," and then everything stopped. They got told to go off stage.
Sketch, wasn't it?
Then we just got absolutely obliterated for
Pelted
5
by
minutes
rain.
by rain.
I feel like there's a bit of there was a bit of hail there as well.
Yeah.
I feel like.
It was
Did chuck it down.
painful. It was so wet, and it was only like 5 minutes, but it was enough to just soak everything.
Mm.
And then they came back on, did
And
3
obviously,
songs.
obviously,
Three or four.
fully understand that for it's
Safety
like,
reasons, you've got to.
yeah, safety's got to come first. So
100%.
you've got to stop the set. Like
However, what it
if
was,
lightning hits that stage, all that live equipment on there, like
Yeah, you'd very quickly just end Baby Metal if they got an
Yeah.
electrical surge. Then they just
Hopefully, this sort of kind of guarantees them to be booked next year. You'd hope.
I
just
did
to
see
give them the chance
somewhere
to, you know,
whenever they last played, which was I like 2018 or something like that online. Apparently, they had technical issues with weather during then and had to have their set cut short.
Oh,
So the
man.
2 times they've been at Download and done this,
say 2019.
no 18. I
Okay,
think.
They've
I was gonna say
got-
that.
yeah, we'll
That was
do
gonna say that was the last time there was bad rain.
they've got
there was some
such
point-
good potential
Oh,
to
100%.
put on one hell of a show there.
But to be fair, for
But-
the songs they did, I really enjoyed it. This was literally, there was an excitement there for me in particular because I wanted to hear the new song with Electric Callboy. And it was literally after the set that I found out that Callboy had dropped off due to Nico being ill. So like, I was like, oh, it was a shame they couldn't do it, but maybe they'll do it tomorrow. And then I can't remember who it was in our group. Someone turned around to me and said, yeah, Callboy aren't here tomorrow. And there was disappointment. But for the Baby Metal set, I did really enjoy that. It was a lot of good fun, a lot of
for-
good
for-
anime vibes.
for what we
Just
got to
enjoyed
see,
it.
it was really good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just-
I was happy with that.
I'm still not sold on them. Like it feels a little bit corporate for me.
I get that. It's
like-
very corporate.
I think in terms of like instrumental, like brilliant, but yeah, I'm not entirely sold on
I do find the sort
the
of
actual band
really polished
themselves.
choreography thing a little bit hard to sort of like relax with.
Yeah,
I'd give them another go. Like I'd love to give them
I think
like a full set to
One-
just take it all in.
once you kind of know a bit more of the backstory, I think with it, which I think I explained to some of you a little bit with it, like with the Japanese culture of it, they have such a kind of like channeling way of doing it.
Well,
Like they don't write any of their songs. It's done all by like a ghost writer in particular, who you can see like on the Electric Callboy one. Spooky. But,
he died 50 years ago.
but like you can tell it's corporate. It is what it is, and I think like
Also,
you've got to take it for what it is.
Also, some of the footage of them playing in Japan when the whole crowd knows the choreography and it
it's
just goes
fucking
off
chaotic.
is
Yeah,
unbelievable.
absolutely madness.
Like
with
I
it.
think to be part of one of them shows would just be nuts.
In which
it'd be
case,
crazy.
next time Baby Metal are playing a show in the UK or are playing a festival,
We're going to learn
the choreography.
Don't tell this man to learn anything. He'll do it in two days.
I'll do it. Yeah.
He learnt French.
Learn the words as well.
He learnt French just to prove me wrong.
Fucking did it.
Do it now.
Later. Leave it for later.
That's a good French name, actually. It's just to prove me wrong.
So in particular for me, I didn't have anything until Alpha Wolf. I'm guessing you guys went to Shikari?
Oh,
I
yeah,
did.
That's what I did. I did one song of Shikari because I've seen them before and I love them. But
Talk to me about Shikari.
so I've seen them before. It was exactly what I was expecting. I can't really talk that much about it because again, I watched one song and then I made my way to the Avalanche stage.
Fine, I'll talk about it instead. Shikari was my favourite set of the weekend. I already love them. They're already one of my favourite bands. But it felt like there were a lot of eyes on them for this set. Obviously, they were one of the main catalysts in the whole Barclays boycott thing, which we won't go into. But yeah, I think for that reason, obviously people knew Shikari were the reason, one of the main catalysts for causing like that to be resolved, which probably meant a lot more people went to the set, or at least a few more people, and they really took the bull by the horns. Absolutely smashed the set. Production was amazing. I was expecting it to be the same production as the Slam Dunk set a couple of years ago, but it was similar but sort of mixed up a little bit. A few remixes and things in there. Amazing set. Rao was all over the place, rolling in the mud. Over at the sound desk as well. He came over to near where I was stood to say hello.
Got a bloody good photo, didn't you?
I did, yeah. It was pretty close to me. Yeah, smashed it. High energy. And we've been having discussions about future Download headliners, and a lot of people have mentioned Shikari, and I, as a big Shikari fan, have said, no, they're not there. I can't see them getting there. But looking around at times and seeing the sheer amount of people that turned out for this set, I think my mind's being changed on that a bit. I'm being convinced that maybe one more strong album and they could be considered as a headliner.
Could be there.
Well, which
is very exciting.
Knowing how good their tour production stuff is. Like their light shows are unbelievable. Like imagine if they got told in a year's time you're doing your headline and Download. Imagine what they'd pull through.
That's the even for me that I'm not necessarily a fan of their music. The production is some of the best production any live artist puts on, no matter what. That's something you can't deny whether you like the music or don't like the music. The thing that they put on a live performance is incredibly special, innovative, unique. And I have no doubt that if they were to headline in the future, it would be a very, very memorable performance.
Yeah, like
and people would hate it as well.
Imagine being like top of the hill watching that. Oh, fucking hell. Shiver me timbers.
Where were you at then?
I was at Alpha Wolf. Maybe because of some of the dropouts that happened on the Friday, I lost a lot of bands I wanted to see. So this probably became like my most anticipated set. And I must say, I was whelmed. I think the mix and the sound in that tent,
it's
really
both the tents seem to have sound difficulties, like the past couple of years especially. But the Dogtooth, in particular, just seems to just have, for want of a better phrase, dog shit sound. Yeah.
It's not just the sound either. The stage is in the wrong place. Yeah. It should be the other way around. Why the hell?
I get that they can't put it down there because of obviously the access and getting stuff to and from the stage.
They've got to figure out a way of having the stage at the bottom and then the crowd going up, because as soon as you're 5 rows back, you can't see the stage.
But I agree with the sound, but I think being one of my most anticipated bands as well, getting into the pit for it, the vibes were immaculate, and I still absolutely had a whale of a time and still ended up being one of my favourite sets. We got the back-to-back, we got the Holding Absence collabs. Lucas came out for 60 centimeters, which was incredible, and then get on to Holy Absence in a second, but then Lockie came out for Aching Longing, which was great. But I really still managed to enjoy that Alpha Wolf set. First time seeing them. I need to see them in a club at some point. Desperate to see that, because Half Living Things is way up there as an album of the year contender right now for me, and I've actually found myself this week pretty much going back and just listening to that. Since being back at Download, I'm just spinning Half Living Things constantly.
You've finally given Landmarks a bit of a rest.
Oh no, they're in the mix as well. It's not the only thing. Landmarks are always in the mix. That's an understanding we need to have. But no, I still really enjoyed that set. It was fantastic. And then when's Holding Absence?
Well, so I'd made the decision to leave Shikari early and go and get a good spot in the tent for Holding Absence because I sort of presumed it was going to be really busy, which I was right.
You saw a bit of Silverstein.
I caught the sort of tail end of Silverstein, which they sounded brilliant from where I was, sort of sat outside just on the left. And then as soon as they stopped, there was the big switch. So it sort of but there was actually quite a good system where I was expecting everyone to try and pile in and the people that wanted to leave not be able to leave, but everyone sort of left. It was really empty. I went into the middle and then everyone piled in behind me,
like getting on the train.
yeah. It's like everyone was like, we know what we're supposed to do here. And then about 5 minutes before they came on, I got a text from Mr. James here.
Oh my
like,
Christ!
Where are you? I was like, I'm in the Holding Absence pit in the middle, and he goes, so am I. Put your phone up. Put my phone up. He was about 3 people behind me.
Found you.
So yeah, we found each other just before they started.
I went to see Elfwolf with Callum. He didn't come into the pit, but I was like, okay, during the last song, like right towards the end, like a minute or two before, meet me at this point. We are going to have the fastest speed walk from Avalanche to Dogtooth that anyone has ever... Sorry, from Dogtooth to Avalanche that anyone has ever had.
The only reason you didn't run is because you would have fallen over.
I would have fallen over. So, like, I got to walk past...
Could hear the mud.
Literally,
of like you guys just...
So, I got to hear...
Like SpongeBob walking.
Oh, what were you going to say then?
Got to hear the smallest bit of Sleeps, hear them play Rainbows, which sounded great. I've heard a lot of fantastic reviews from Sleeps. I felt bad walking past... But
hey, don't feel bad.
I had to go to Holding Absence. That was...
You've seen them before.
We saw them at Ali Pali.
I've seen them 10 times. It's been plenty. So I went for my 9th time seeing Holding Absence instead. Absolutely loved it. It was another highlight set for me. They were fantastic. Sound wasn't perfect, but again, and you'll probably attest with like being in the pit, we had so much fucking fun in there. It was lovely.
We were so close that we could hear like the on stage amps and stuff, so we could hear the guitars and the vocals.
It was a lot better.
But as soon as you went,
hear the guitars and the vocals.
As soon as you went a little bit further back, all you could hear was drums. But which doesn't bother us.
And in particular, the snare.
Yeah.
Strong snare drum.
We had a little bit of a theory that because it was their drum, I think it was their drum tech that was drumming.
Yeah,
he turned everyone else down and went, "Now listen to what I can do."
Listen to my snare.
But yeah, I think there's a great bit of footage of you,
Afterlife.
the only person on. Well, there's that. Yeah, there's the footage of you pitting or us pitting for Afterlife. And there's also the footage of you on my shoulders at the end.
Oh,
and you're the only person, and you're just there pointing at Lucas, just going nuts.
Vibing. You literally turned to me and were like, how much do you weigh?
weigh?
And I was like, I don't know, but I've been on a cut recently. And he looked at me and was like, that's good enough. That was really
It was my
fun,
first
man.
time hearing Angel in the Marble live.
It's
a very nice set closer.
It's gorgeous. I love it.
It's a shame that Wilt was dropped, but I think with those two songs, it's got to be one or the other for a festival set.
Cool.
So it made sense.
I was going to say my controversial take would be that I'd rather have Wilt as the closer.
I think I still prefer Wilt.
So when
but I wanted to hear Angel in the Marble at least.
So when they did the tour last year, when I saw it in November, they ended the main set with Wilt and then had Afterlife and then Angel in the Marble as the encore.
Did they do that? Did they do that in Oxford?
No, Angel in the Marble wasn't out at that point.
It wasn't out.
It wasn't out.
No, but they had Afterlife as the encore.
Afterlife and Wilt used to be the encore.
Right, okay. Also, coming on to Like a Shadow.
Oh my god, I lost my shit immediately.
Straight away, the tent just just started bouncing.
God. It was incredible.
And it was so noisy in there as well. Like not from the stage, but from from the crowd, like singing Like a Shadow, which again, like a band that's breaking through like Holding Absence does. It's usually the newer songs or like the big hits like Afterlife that are going to get the biggest crowd response.
And Gravity as well.
Not a song like that, which was on the like debut self-titled album. Like to have that many people singing that loudly,
straight away the crowd
just shows the dedication of those fans in that tent.
And that part too of having Lockie come out and do Aching Longing was amazing. You could see like Scott did a screaming part in the verse.
And everyone
he was coming out for, and he was like, "Oh shit, no, I'm not coming out yet." And then he eventually came out, nailed it.
I was a bit like, Scott, you sound great, man, but
oh, well, Lockie.
Lockie's right behind you. Let him have a go.
But no, that was a lot of fun. And
Mum said it's my turn to do the verse.
I think at that point, I essentially was pretty much done for the day after that.
We watched a little bit of Fall Out Boy.
Caught a bit of Fall Out Boy. They seem to be doing like an Eras tour kind of thing where like Josh pointed out at one point, like, my God, why is he still dressed like it's 2006? And it's because they were doing almost playing, at least the first part of the set, they were playing songs in chronological order. So like starting with like the really old stuff. And that was why he was dressed like it was 2006.
Was it Fall Out Boy that he started off in like a nurse's, like when he laid down a hospital bed gown thing, right? Okay.
And they kind of played a few songs like through chronologically. When they got to sort of the Infinity on High album, so like the 2009-2010 era, like that's when I kind of stopped listening to them. So I was a bit like, okay, I've heard enough now. Yeah. Like I'm happy to go. And like traipsing through the mud all day, seeing loads of bands is pretty exhausting. So when you gotta go, you gotta go. Mm-hmm. And that was the time.
And now we get to the last day, Sunday.
We started off with an absolute banger, didn't we?
You've wanted to see Code Orange for such a long time.
They've been due to play Download, I think 2 times previous to this, and for whatever reason haven't made it.
I don't think they'll be.
And I don't think they're coming back.
Talk to me about Code Orange, Alex.
Oh man, it was everything I hoped it would be. Basically, just like feral and like what I quite like about them is they sort of have this like quite deliberate like antagonistic style, not just like to their music but to just like their whole approach. Like it's sort of like
it's
get on board or
it's Rage Against the Machine-esque, isn't it?
Yeah. And I was just like from like that first song when he like busts his head open with the mic, I was like, this is fucking sick.
You had the biggest smile on your face the entire set, and the only thing I can compare that to is when you saw Kuba Khan at Trees. Like when you came out of that pit, you had the biggest smile, and it's like the only thing I can compare it to, because I knew like how much you wanted to see Code Orange for a long, long time, which is quite sweet to see. You were just so happy and in your element.
Which makes me think, like, imagine Code Orange in like the cave.
Ooh. Are we talking about the end of their set?
I think we can talk about the end of their set. Of course,
because of the weather being so poor, arena was closed off a little bit early that you couldn't get in the right
45
time.
minutes later, didn't it?
Yeah, so a lot of sets were either shortened, pushed back, everything like that. And so they dedicated, I think it was like the last song to Avenged Sevenfold for not basically accommodating for everyone else.
Well, I mean, it turned out to be the last song. They intended it to not be the last song.
Yeah, they started playing another one essentially, and then just got cut off and threw shit around the stage.
I think the dedication was "fuck Avenged Sevenfold."
Yeah. It wasn't a nice one for it. It was unpleasant, but yeah, they kind of trashed up the stage. Probably won't be invited back for a while.
Nah. I can imagine there were some very stern words had with from the sound techs after they got
it was
good
cool.
set.
It was sick when that drummer just started playing and they just started going nuts. Oh, it was so good. And the whole crowd, mate, I've never seen a crowd switch so quickly. Oh, everyone just went feral. It was like
it's the fact that the band must have known that we couldn't hear them, but they were still rocking out.
Yeah,
you wouldn't have known they knew, and then everyone just going
seemed
crazy.
Like there wasn't at any point where any of them like looked at each other or hesitated. Like it was instinctive. Like we're just gonna fucking go until they drag us off. You could see like
which they basically had to.
You could see like Tex walking along the back going
and like unplugging stuff and that. Yeah. And then when they started swinging mic stands around and throwing basses, I think that's when Tex sort of.
It was very cool, but like at the same time, it's a bit like.
If I'd have been working the stage,
you've made your point now. Like, there's no need to lob a microphone at an innocent, probably volunteer, stage tech hand.
Also, I don't really understand the notion behind, unless it wasn't his bass. Why did he throw his bass?
Have you not seen like watching it back? Like he clearly regrets throwing it.
I can imagine because
you can see that he kind of hesitates. He like holds it in the air like he's going to throw it, and it's like
that's probably a $2,000 bass.
And then lobs it, but like not full send. It's kind of like a gentle like.
And you sort of see him go. Yeah, I've never really understood the notion behind destroying your own kit.
No.
But lobbing
destroy someone else, destroy Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah, just go out and get a Sophisticated guitar. You know what I think of you? Bang.
The thing
grabs his other one. Bam.
If that does sort of like blacklist them from playing, it would be a shame because you've got to imagine that bands that have headlined that festival have probably been 1,000 times worse of like being divas or having tantrums, and they've probably been welcomed back with open arms each year. So.
I think lobbing the microphone is the final straw, though. I think, like, they made their point. They could have carried on playing for a bit and then just like
once you actually start costing them
smash
money,
something up of your own, not like the festivals, and then get off stage again. Point made. Crowd are happy.
Yeah.
You get to come back again. I just don't think it happens.
However, it was a very good set and we all very much enjoyed it. Anyone go to Split Chain?
I went in for a little bit. I'd heard negative stuff kind of from you from a recent set they played in Oxford. So I went in for a little bit, but the sound wasn't great.
I thought they were good. I think it was the sound that let them down again.
So we saw them in Oxford with Gel, didn't we, Alex? And it was a bit of a weird one because it was doors open at 7:30. There was nothing on. No, doors open at 7. Yeah. There was nothing on until 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9.
8:30.
And they both Gel and Split Chain only played 25-minute sets. So it was there should have definitely been another band on. You should have all done 30, 40 minutes. But it was just a very strange gig. So I think we sort of went in there a little bit sort of biased against them. But they sounded all right, I guess.
Sam said they sounded a fair bit better than they did at Oxford.
They're incredible on record. The singles they've released, I love. And I think they're one of those, once they figure out, nailing their live sound
there's
mix,
something they haven't sort of got into yet.
It'll be they'll really start running. Do you know what I mean? But shame, but still an exciting band nonetheless, and I'm excited to see where things go from them.
So I think
rock and roll, baby.
Ended up leaving that and watching a bit of Creeper. Not really a fan, never really listened to them, but it was quite a good show and it was decent.
We sort of need Josh here to talk about Creeper.
Yeah, Josh is a Creeper fan, but I think he enjoyed himself nonetheless.
I mean, going into the festival, Sunday was always my quietest day in terms of bands. So I wasn't necessarily that excited about the Sunday, but then it turned out to be one of my favourite days. And I think it's probably because I didn't have to stress about going over and seeing any bands. I didn't have to worry about what time a band was on.
Relax and chill.
Which is great because this was the day that was most affected by stage times being moved around.
Yeah.
But I was whatever. I'll turn up to a stage, see a band, go after something else, see someone else.
So we all kind of found some benches and just chilled.
Which is what I mean. We just hung out.
We relaxed. You became our official
me and Alex went on a little adventure.
You had a side quest.
Yeah.
We went out specifically to decide we've got to do something weird and something for the vlog. And we definitely found something weird for the vlog, didn't we?
You became our official mascot, which was beautiful.
Yeah. Alex spent £15 and turned me into the Ragamuffin Cat.
Money well spent.
Every penny.
How much?
15.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it. Nah.
It wasn't just that as well.
To be fair, they did a great job.
I've got no regrets.
It wasn't just that. It took about 45 minutes from payment to actually sitting down and getting it done.
You've gone for a while.
We went through waves of
there was maybe 4 or 5 peaks and troughs of us going, this is really funny, this is probably a waste of time, this is really funny, this is probably a waste of time.
Worth it. So worth it.
Yeah.
You became really unsettling to look at for the rest of the day.
Especially, it was really sunny on the Sunday. Ironic, considering how horrific it had been most of the weekend.
Oh, I started sweating.
But you're just sweating this cat face off.
Oh, God, yeah. I look like I've been in a fire.
While this was happening, Bowling for Soup were playing in the background, which was nice to hear. It was like a fun little soundtrack.
Yeah, I went over and watched a couple of songs, and I mean, they put on a good show. They know the target audience. They just seem to have a good time. I just personally find it a little bit weird seeing people in their mid-50s singing about high school.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, but it doesn't ever end.
That's the whole point of the song, Dan.
But they were good. I did enjoy it.
The next thing for me was what was actually after that, which was Sum 41. Last UK festival.
Did you not see Of Mice and Men?
No, I didn't. I was dead.
I saw Of Mice and Men. They're really good.
You go to Of Mice and Men first.
George shoots Lenny.
Thank you.
Did I see Of Mice and Men?
I don't know what you were doing.
That's how they should start it.
You did. You and Sam went into the pit.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
I thought I did. Yeah, me and
that's
Sam
how they should start their sets, by the way.
And I get to tend the rabbits. Of Mice and Men were great.
Yeah.
They were as good as I sort of remember them in Oxford.
I think I wanted to go, but set times being juggled around was then, okay, I want to watch the whole of that Sum 41 set now that Cool Boy got cancelled. So I went and watched it. It was wonderful for me. After seeing the Slam Dunk performance a couple of years ago, which I found really disappointing, I I was a little bit apprehensive of this being at a festival because I've seen them at clubs and they've been good, but I think they smashed it out of the park. It was a hell of a lot of fun. They sounded great live. The newer songs really went off as well, to be fair. Everyone was enjoying it, vibing with it. The weather at that point was getting hot again. I remember like feeling like almost like my neck was going to get sunburnt, but a lot of fun. They said they're going to do a tour at some point, which I'd be intrigued to go to. One last tour, one last send off before next year they call it quits. So no, it was a lot of fun nostalgia for me. A nostalgia filled weekend along with Busted, which was really, really cool.
One thing that's always frustrated me with some 41's live sets, and like not so much at their own headline shows, but at a festival. Why are you wasting some of the time, like for want of pun not intended? Why are you trying to waste my time with covers?
Yeah.
Right.
Like you've got like they've got enough of their own songs that people know that are absolute bangers that they could fit into a set. Like why are you bothering with a Queen cover and like a 5-minute guitar solo? You don't want
I do that
that
all the time. But
my main
it is what
takeaway
it
from
is.
this set is they'll be back. They seem to enjoy it so much that
I don't think
I can't see them staying
Do
away.
you think they're going to do a bit of a You Me at 6 and be like, yeah, we're going to go now, and then all of a sudden they're saying they're going to.
Well, You Me
there'll
at
be
6 haven't come
reunions
back,
in years'
but-
time. There'll
Yeah,
be
no, but
reunions in years' time.
I'm pretty sure I saw recently that You Me at 6 are bringing a new album out.
Well, they might do an album before they go, but
Yeah.
But I think that,
but
yeah,
I think Sum 41 come back.
there'll be the odd appearance here and there, I think. But it was hella fun for me. Before you guys get into what you were at, where you loved it, I'll do a little bit for me.
You went to see Corey,
I went
right?
and saw Corey. It was a lot of fun. Really, really great set. Got to hear my favourite song before I forget. It was quite nice just interspersing his solo songs amongst some Stone Sour and Slipknot. Did the SpongeBob song. Everyone loved it. He did a deep cut, which I'm struggling to remember.
Bong, bong, bong.
Christ. From Can to Can't. That's it. So I think Dave Grohl did an album about a studio, and I forget what it is, where there were loads of collaborations. Every song like had different random people on it, and he'd said up like a lot of people have requested this before, and he's never played it. So I think this might be the first time it was done. I'm not sure, or it's just recently he's added it in. But like as soon as it was on, I was like, "Fuck, I know this song." But then, like, as it went through, I was like, I remember the lyrics. I'm listening to this years ago. And that was really cool. Snuff was really good. That was quite sweet. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that set.
Second year in a row seeing him do Snuff.
Yeah, and I found out earlier he's done 14 out of 21 download festivals, which is actually quite mad. 2/3 of all download festivals Corey Taylor's been to.
Well, it's going to be 15 next year by the look of it.
We'll get to that later, potentially. But you guys, talked about Limp Bizkit. You all seem to have a great time.
Yeah, one of the sets of the weekend.
The set of the weekend for me.
I mean, I'm not like the biggest Limp Bizkit fan, but I knew it was
I
going to be a
am
good
now.
time.
Wes
And
Borland is one of the
it's been
coolest
excellent.
men I've ever seen on stage.
They were all the coolest men I've ever seen on stage.
It's
I think.
nuts.
Fucking hell. I mean,
What was it we called him? We said he was in the end. Like
Gilded
a
Pirate
gilded
King.
pirate king. That was it.
we tried to predict what it looked like, and
We were all very
No
wrong.
chance.
Yeah, he wasn't Mr. Blobby.
he
in
wasn't
the
Mr. Blobby.
It
No.
No.
wasn't Mr. Blobby.
Open with break stuff, close with break stuff. Like fuck you. How
And then
about
a good time in between.
that? Yeah, all the
Like
hits.
they got to the point where they were clearly about to play their last song, and I was like, well, they've played the 6 songs that I know. Like, what other hits have they got? And they were like, basically,
nice we do it.
so nice we had to do it twice, baby.
So good.
Like Fred Durst's like charisma as a front man, like it doesn't even have to be jumping around that stage. It's just
He was pretty
Cool.
low energy. Like,
He-
between
yeah.
songs, he was actually really chill.
He moves around like an old man, but like
That
every
vibes.
now and then he just becomes a 25-year-old again and just goes
it's
crazy.
like Yoda.
Yeah, he's not got all of his energy
he's
until
wise,
he's fighting.
He's chilled out, but you know he's commanding like what's going on, and then before like without any warning, bam.
Yeah, so
So the only criticism I've seen is that a lot of the times in between actual songs that they played, there were just long times where there was just music happening.
Who
I
cares?
thought that was
It's
really
funny.
cool.
It was
It's
no,
funny.
That was really cool.
It was like
It's
an
just the
atmos- it was
criticism
like an
I've heard.
atmosphere.
Yeah,
It
the
was
whole
like an
crowd just
atmosphere.
started just vibing.
Okay, it was just like the one criticism I've heard from it. I wasn't there, so I
Especially
can't say.
to introduce the Faith cover.
Yeah.
Which was sick, by the way.
Mm.
And I
Oh
know-
yeah,
I
hang
know
on.
that
We,
you just-
we were just talking about not doing
Yeah, I know
covers.
you just critiqued some but
But then, to be fair, they'd already done like the Faith cover
Yeah.
and recorded it, hadn't they?
But unfortunately for some 41, Limp Bizkit are cooler, so they
Ooh.
couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
coolest band on the lineup, actually.
instead of Limp Bizkit, I went to get Pit ready for Counterparts.
Which is a shame because you didn't have to get to that set early.
No, I probably didn't.
I was
but
also there.
I didn't, but like, even though growing up on new metal, I never got into Limp Bizkit, so I did not care about going to see it.
You'd have loved it.
You
Probably would have done,
would have still loved
but
it.
like, I just really wasn't fussed. To be honest, it wasn't one that. I guess like even some bands on festivals, you look at it and you're like, oh, you know what? I'll go and watch it if I can. I really didn't even have that attraction to go and want to go and see it.
By the way,
I guess it's just
before we move on from them, that was a headline set.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
MVP.
If you look at the comparison, if you look at the comparison from Queens to Limp Bizkit and had to say which one do you think was the headliner for the weekend?
I mean, that set just had to be longer and have a bit more production, and that's a headline set.
100%.
Which allegedly they were asked to headline, and they said no.
Could imagine if they had the stage set up, you know, the Roland video where it's like him with the girls on the platforms. Imagine if they had that and they had a bunch of dancers come out during that song and fucking fireworks during break stuff and shit.
If they had
mental.
if they had an hour and 40 to do whatever they wanted at the end of Download,
God.
Holy shit!
And also as well, we'll get to Counterparts and Avenged in a sec, but it was so good that it was energy draining. It was such an adrenaline rush that I crashed really hard afterwards. Which is not what you want from the band and not closing the night. Do you know what I mean? You want them to be fuck, that was amazing. Nothing can top that. And then have nothing to follow it. So.
Oh my god, can you imagine if they did a headliner and they still bookended the whole set with break stuff?
Oh my god.
That would be
It's weird. It's
that,
weird to
that
think
would
about,
go
They should
so
do it. They should
hard.
do it in the middle as well.
Do it 3 times.
like a club sandwich. Bread in the middle.
Yeah, to explain that because it's got bread in the middle.
It's weird to think about them and Korn allegedly being offered headline slots and not wanting them, because again, Korn last year was so fucking good and so much fun that I would have happily let that be a headline set for me. Was it last year or the year before?
Year before.
Before, because it was the Biffy year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Won the Beth.
But
So Counterparts.
We pretty much ended our weekend with Counterparts.
No, you did.
You did.
Oh yeah, you stayed, didn't you?
We stayed.
Yeah.
We stayed.
It's a shame you did.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, but you didn't like it, did you?
I liked it.
We
Oh,
did.
all right then.
Avenged that.
Sorry.
I like the
really
Avenged
liked
that,
I
it.
thought you didn't like it.
It
All
wasn't
right.
us that met our heroes and were disappointed.
James and I pretty much ended our festival with Counterparts, didn't
No,
we?
James stayed.
I went
for
James
Avenged.
stayed as
as
well.
well.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
It was only me that went back.
It was you
Okay.
Well, Dan's really trying to get this point out.
I ended my weekend.
No, you didn't,
with
Dan. You can't.
Counterparts.
Can you believe Dan didn't
Stop
watch the-
gaslighting me.
Counterparts then.
Counterparts were good.
Fucking hell. Chaotic.
It was the best sound in a tent all weekend.
I think it
by
was
my
the
opinion.
only good sounding band in the tent.
They were so fucking good. It was a lot of fun. I wish there'd been more people there. The pit seemed a bit sparse.
I was a bit worried before this started. It felt a bit
Yeah.
open, but
Yeah,
then it ended up feeling like a proper hardcore show.
It was
'cause there
quite nice to have a bit more.
So
room.
much floor space for everyone to just march around and
Oh, it
swing a cat.
Hella fun.
And that's the only reason I take my cat.
I love
So
taking
I
my
can swing it
I
around
love
the
taking my
Counterparts.
cat to hardcore shows.
But no, I think they sounded great. Really good set. Shout out to Curtis for just sticking me on his shoulders and running into the pit. We took some guy out as we ran in, and I think he face planted into the mud. So
There were so
My
many
apologies.
times where you looked like you were
I
going to
nearly
fall
went
off.
so many times.
And
Yeah, I
Curtis
can't believe
looked
it.
like he was fighting for his life.
He was really trying to keep me on his shoulders. So shout out, mate. I appreciate that. It was a lot of fun. But no, I really enjoyed that set. I thought they sounded great. I think probably, like you say, one of the best in a tent in terms of the sound with it.
And weirdly, the last few times that I've seen Counterparts, Brendan has seemed surprisingly nice.
Yeah.
I think he's shrugged off that reputation of being a dick to the crowd.
Do you know what I think it is? I think he just only legitimately does it when the crowd are bad.
Maybe.
I actually think if the crowd is receptive and good from the onset.
I don't really
I think he's
understand.
fine.
I don't
He's
really
having a
understand the
happy
reason
arc.
behind that, because if the crowd is quote unquote bad, the last thing that they want is for the singer to be like, "You're fucking shit."
I think he's having a different kind of vocalist arc in terms of his persona, I
Yeah.
guess, on stage at this point. But all here for it. Very much enjoyed it. You went back.
Yeah, that was the end of my festival.
Did you not stay for Avenged Sevenfold then?
No, I didn't.
Everyone else did.
Nah, I don't believe it.
Put your hand up if you stayed for Avenged Sevenfold.
Only 3?
loads more people come in.
Yeah, the doors open and people are flooding in.
We've got 100,000 people waiting outside to put their hands up.
But no, I was apprehensive. I think we said a lot about it like beforehand, going into it with a certain set list we could have. But you know what? I fucking enjoyed it. I bloody enjoyed it. We were singing along to old songs and shit like that. It was nostalgic as hell.
Co-op was banging that night.
I'm sure Co-op was banging. Co-op's always banging. Like, you can't disagree with that.
They did have a bit of a
wobble
in the middle.
We were at Nightmare, and it was just before the final chorus,
Right at the last
and then
chorus.
Sound and everything just went.
It just popped, didn't it, and just disappeared.
However, they came back out with Unholy Confessions, which was
So
absolutely incredible. And then what was it after?
Then it was Little Piece of Heaven.
Then A Little Piece of Heaven, which no one thought they were going to play, which was incredible. The sound of 100,000 people singing a song about necrophilia is
For 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's something. It's quite something there, to be honest. But that Buried Alive, I remember a lot of that. It was fun. Save Me, just
Save Me
fiction.
was real rogue.
Hail to the King as well.
Hail to the King. Hearing songs that I didn't expect to hear was really quite fun, and it seemed to cater a lot more to what I was wanting, which made it a much better experience.
I think
seeing a band that has been on a bucket list.
If your expectations didn't include like hearing some of those new songs, then you're a bit of an idiot.
You'd have been very disappointed.
But like considering that was like their first show since that album's come out in the UK, and I'm not particularly fond of that album, but even the songs that they played from Life Is But a Dream sounded really good.
Yeah, we were saying.
And if anything, they sound that like I enjoyed them more live than I do on record. And I've actually been listening to it like this week a bit more. And
trying to
get in.
your head
I'm
round
sort
it,
of
yeah.
getting into it a bit. What's been weird to me is Avenged Sevenfold were like a very like instinctive band for me to like enjoy. It was like first listen, I was always into it.
I was buzzing. I was buzzing when they brought the new album out. I was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be sick,"
Yeah.
and then was just
that's
so
what I think
disappointed.
has been the struggle with like the stage and Life Is But a Dream is that they're like quite deliberately difficult albums that you have to like put the work in to like get the reward out of it, which is I don't know. But now that I've heard some of those songs live, I think.
I'm hungry.
Now I've heard some of those songs live, I think I'm a bit more on board.
You could have said the same thing about Seat of Evil when it first came out, though.
Yeah.
Like the whole album sounds the same.
Very
and if you don't like that exact sound, you're not going to like it.
Mm.
And I think a lot of people would have listened to Seat of Evil the first time around and gone,
especially at the time, like going from Waking the Fallen, which was a metalcore album, to
like basically like a prog sort of weird sort of.
A lot of things on that.
But then there's so many songs on there now that everyone loves.
Yeah.
Beast and the Harlot, Backcountry.
Backcountry Live.
Trash and Scattered.
Backcountry was so good.
Even like Strength of the World, like a song that's like 13 minutes long.
Yeah.
But once it gets into it, it's like, it's just so good.
So our main criticism of the set was like, I felt there could have been more production, and also all the overlays they were using on the screens for different songs. I wasn't a fan of that.
I quite like the AI sort of like monster changing one that they did.
Yeah, that was okay. I felt like for a headline set, I wanted more. There were points of it, although I loved it, there were points of it where I felt like this is a really phenomenal sub-headline performance. Right. And I felt like a bit more production, like pyro, like there was like zero pyro.
Yeah.
And I felt like even just something like that just gives it that flair as you're going late into the evening and you see those sparks go up and these big
Literally
tunes.
a flare.
Literally. Just hold up a bloody flare. It just felt like it was lacking in some parts there, which maybe gave it a bit of a disappointment, but for the songs I love and to hear them, it was beautiful nostalgia.
I will say M Shadow's voice live was
very impressive.
Unbelievable.
Was very
I think
impressive.
that might be one of the reasons why I enjoyed the newer stuff more actually watching it, because I love the band, I love him to bits, but I do not like his voice when it's recorded. It's so nasally.
Very nasally.
On the new stuff as well.
On the new stuff, it's like it's worse than like previously. But something about his tone when he's live is just phenomenal. It's so good.
And that was Sunday.
I thought they were great. I thought they, to me, and I know we didn't really watch Queens of Stone Age and we didn't watch a lot of Fall Out Boy, but there were a lot of like, I think doubters and a lot of question marks over the headliners this year. and Avenged Sevenfold to me absolutely smashed it. Like,
If you put them up against other headliners though, very mid.
Yeah.
Even bands like Biffy, like they're like they put on a show.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff I've read online has been very negative towards Avenged. So I'm surprised that like 3 out of 3 of you enjoyed it.
Well, yeah.
I think maybe it's just one of those things.
Maybe a nostalgia thing.
Of our lives listening to that.
And was that the first time all 3 of us have ever seen them?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you listened to it.
That might be it. Yeah.
You listened to it so much growing up at a point when I actually couldn't listen to them anymore. That's how much.
Yeah.
Well, then also with Mike Portnoy drumming, you would have been all over it.
Oh, that'd been incredible. Nightmare Area. I wish I'd seen that.
Yeah.
But that's Download Festival in terms of all the music. We didn't do it for Saturday. Let's just jump back to it very quickly. Who was your favourite act on Saturday? So yours was Shikari.
Shikari for me.
Best set of that.
Holding Absence.
I think mine might have to be Holding Absence.
Yeah.
Followed very closely by Alpha Wolf.
That's the second time I've seen Holding Absence at a festival, and they've been my favourite set. Trees last year, and the Saturday this year.
Yeah. Favourite Saturday?
I guess Holding Absence, but the sound wasn't great.
Should have been with us, mate.
Favourite set on Sunday?
Favourite set on Sunday? What are we going for?
LAMP.
It's got to be. Biscuit.
Oh, by the way, Parkway Drive was the secret set.
Yeah.
We didn't go.
No, we did not go.
Didn't bother.
How do we feel about them?
Hang on.
Sorry.
Favourite set counterparts for me. Now go.
How do we feel about them announcing it like earlier in the day? Like, do you think it would have been better for them to have?
It should have been. It should have been a complete secret.
I think
it got leaked pretty much, and I think
they leaked it.
They leaked. They announced it.
They put it on their Instagram.
No, but like in like 24 hours beforehand, there were photos going up where there was Parkway Drive merch around and photos were going out everywhere. It got leaked beforehand.
I saw someone with a T-shirt saying Parkway Drive is the secret set.
But like there was like boxes where it had like you could tell they were loading and unloading merch from the main places, and you could like the Parkway Drive name was on there. So at that point, a day beforehand, it was pretty much like everyone was going between Ghost and them because there was that Ghost announcement after the Sum 41 set, which
that was for their movie, wasn't it? Yeah.
But I think at that point, seeing that on the box that was out there everywhere, I was like, Kiss Parkway.
They could have done a much better job of keeping it dead secret.
Yep.
It wouldn't have been hard to let nobody know at all and just have them just turn up.
Yeah.
But I get that they probably wanted to avoid filling the tent up, Parkway coming on, and 80% of everyone going, I'm not doing this, and buggering off. So the people that were in there that had a pretty good chance of knowing that it was Parkway would have loved it.
I think the best way to go with secret sets is to have like some kind of clue that only fans would get.
That what would get?
Only fans would get. What did I say?
Only fans.
Oh.
There we go.
We all got it.
Classic.
That was Download Festival 2024.
Yeah, we talked about bands. We talked about getting there. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about?
The weather. It was alright. Get over it. It's a bit of mud.
You know what? Not as bad as 2019.
The videos make it look way worse than it was.
It does. One thing
I was talking about this at work actually. I reckon there's like a generation of people that are going to their first proper festivals, and because the weather's been pretty good the last couple of summers. Like, I think like there's people there's people experiencing their first muddy festivals, and they're kicking up a fuss about it.
This was actually my first wet download. I managed to miss. I did a year off where it was the bad one, and then last year was roasting hot.
2019 was worse, I think.
Yeah,
in terms of mud.
I've kind of blocked out my memory. I think. Thing is, I think so much of it is just like your mentality.
I mean, 2019
the second
was
that you let it bother you.
2019 was the year they decided they had to move the village to hard standing.
Yeah.
So I think that says a lot about that year.
And also just have the right gear with you. If you've got a good pair of boots or wellies, if you make sure your tent's set up properly so your stuff's not going to get wet, and you've got a spare waterproof jacket, you'll be fine.
And fair enough.
And dry, warm clothes to sleep in, you'll be fine.
And fair enough, it does make things a little bit harder and a little bit more miserable, but it's what you make of it. You can still have a good time. And it's not the festival's fault.
No.
If anything, I think this was like the best prepared they'd seemed.
They did such
also,
a
what
good
do you want
weather.
them to do? Get out like a comically big vacuum and just hoover up all the mud?
I mean, it helped.
Me and Josh were saying that they should try and cover the whole of the arena, just put it under one massive tent, and see how quickly everyone just.
Someone was saying about everyone getting like hair dryers and just going around to see if they could dry it.
Yeah, that was it. When they said, "Oh, we're not going to open because we're going to try and sort the floor out," so about 45 minutes later, someone just goes, "What are they doing? Drying the floor?"
But one of the ones I want to mention actually in terms of like, not this year actually, it's next year, is some of the ticket pricing is getting way fucking out of hand. It's like the early bird prices essentially are getting to a point when regular prices were this year going for it. It's ramping up way too much. And actually, like, kind of as I've mentioned to you guys before all of this, it's leading me to think unless the lineup is phenomenal for me next year, I ain't going, or I'm going to get a 3-day ticket and not do the full 5 days. And what this is going to do is just start having an impact on people, because, like, financially, like, there's inflation with everything.
Everyone's struggling that a little bit more.
Everyone is struggling with it. And, like, you want to be able to have these people come and have what is essentially one of the best experiences at probably the biggest, not probably, is the biggest alternative rock metal festival in the UK. And when you're going to start raising those prices so much that people are going to start thinking it's not worth it, you're pricing yourself out of the market with it, and everyone is going to start going to other competitors.
I was going to say, well, what you'll have is people going, well, I'll go to Bloodstock instead and spend
that's
half
the
the
thing.
amount of money.
I'm already thinking that route of thinking, you know what, let's see what Bloodstock do in terms of their announcement. I think they're going to do something pretty much on the days of who's going to headline next year. And if that intrigues me more, fuck it, I'm just going to go to Bloodstock instead.
Yeah, well, where it's at the point where you can choose to go to 3 smaller festivals and for the same amount of time for 300 quid, or you can go to only download for five nights for 300
Much
quid.
rather do many festivals.
Yeah, that feels like it's the way it's going. For
Crazy.
people, it's going to be download or
we'll do Bloodstock 2000 Trees and Slam Dunk.
Yeah, you go to multiple
Which
instead
is a
of that.
shame, because like we've enjoyed the past few years making like
It's been our summer
a
holiday.
whole summer of it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
as
we
many
get
as
to
we
festival
can.
season and we just don't stop.
And so, it's very disappointing to see that right now. And yeah, like, got me thinking a lot in terms of, do I actually want to go next year?
But also that dynamic pricing's just a symptom of a larger problem, isn't it?
Completely immoral.
Yeah.
I think
It's
like
disgusting.
like the first people, because it seems to be done on like demand by an AI, I guess.
It's so stupid.
But like the first few people to buy the early bird tickets got it for like a reasonable price.
I got a notification being like, buy them now, and it was like 250
Yeah,
quid.
but because of like whatever AI they've got involved that inflates the pricing automatically, or algorithm or whatever it is, like the first few people start buying the tickets, and it seems to go, oh, there's demand for these, let's put the price
more
up.
expensive.
So
No.
like immediately, like for no other reason, you're buying the same product
Fix your early bird price
for like
and then make the regular price 50 quid more. That should just be it.
fixed tiered pricing should be the way it goes.
I believe, I may be completely wrong, but I believe I've already seen like Rest in Peace camping is essentially £1,000.
That's insane.
Like 900 and something quid, which is fucking disgusting, to be honest.
£1,000 for a tent that's
See,
already set
that
up.
feels
It's-
exploitative because of the weather this year as well. There's probably a lot of people thinking,
Fucked.
"Oh, camping in a tent wasn't very enjoyable. I'd love to have a shower, like a proper shower and stuff every day. Let's look into RIP camping." And then saying that's that much.
Yeah. Oh, and like, so the benefits are you get a bit of a nicer shower, nicer toilets. Your tent's already set up for you, and you might see a couple of cool bands on the little private stage.
Fuck that. It's not worth
Why
it for
should that be
grand.
4 times the amount?
It's disgusting for that, to be honest. So let's see what happens over the next few months. See what gets announced for next year. But maybe maybe us not going to download next year potentially because of
Let's
that.
be positive and let's hope that they sort of see that
See the light at the end of the
there's
tunnel.
like a negative sort of feeling around it, and they go, no, we're going to fix the prices. We're going to put some sick headliners on, and we're going to have another really good year. Because I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed myself this year.
I had a
enjoyed
lovely
myself,
year.
I think,
Fantastic
I
year.
think the consensus from our group is that it's probably the worst download we've been to, but it's still download.
Yeah.
And we still have a good
everyone
time.
still
Yeah.
came out of it massive smiles.
I don't agree with that. I think
Right.
last year was worse. Like from the traffic, the fact that it was four headliners, but 2 of them were the same. The heat didn't help, but
that's a
they
fair
can't help
argument.
that. And the fact that we had no time to relax. I enjoyed myself this year with it being a bit wet compared to last year, with it just feeling like it was just
that's a fair
stressful the
argument.
whole
Yeah,
time.
For me, like I nearly didn't go this year, to be honest, because the lineup just isn't that great to me. But again, I'm glad I went. Still a good time. It just didn't feel like there was much for me to do.
It would have to be catastrophic for me to not enjoy myself, because I could be anywhere with you guys and just around some sort of music, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
But
And this was my first like full camping festival sober. And you know what? I don't think it had any effect on how much I enjoyed it.
I asked you.
I was still out at the doghouse till 3 a.m. in the morning, having a great time.
I asked you at the end. I said, Dan, how was it your first sober festival? And you just said it was no different.
Yeah, genuinely,
if anything,
genuinely no different.
You just didn't have hangovers in the morning.
Yeah.
So
to be fair, I don't get hangovers like normally at a festival because you're just constantly
geezer.
You can't be hungover if you're still pissed.
But no, it was still a really good time, and like, even though I enjoyed it less than previous downloads, I don't think any of that was to do with being sober at all. So one thing that we were very lucky with was our choice of food vendors, because it seems anyone that chose Munchbox, or anyone in the guest area that went for a beef brisket, or anyone that had a Yorkshire pud from the village.
It was the one from the village.
I nearly did. I went to. I got one from Arena in the end.
The Arena
That's
one's
why
fine.
you were okay.
I nearly got it.
It was the village one that happens to be opposite the toilets.
Yeah,
that was
probably a good place to be at that point.
The problem
what the
one.
chances of that are? Which
is also a close shave for us, because last year we all sat round together and had a Sunday roast from the Yorkshire Pud.
We'd sort of made it a little tradition.
Doing it this year, and we didn't
happen.
Yeah.
Thank God.
We would have just all been like,
you still got the shits during A7X.
So I wanted one that Sunday anyway, and I considered getting one on the way walking to Arena, but I was like, you know what? I'll wait. I'll get one once I'm in there, and that was a bloody good decision. The one I had was absolutely fine. I know you woke me up on the Monday morning, I think, and you were like, "Are you okay? Have you been sick or anything at all?" And I was like, "No, why?" And it was like, Yorkshire Pud people have had absolute shits.
Yorkshire Pud people.
I'm good. I'm all right.
Have you seen some of the photos of the raw chicken?
Some of the meat
and the raw pork?
That chicken's still squawking.
Oh my God! A good vet could have got it going again.
I guess credit to Download, because as far as I'm aware,
they shut down straight away.
They shut down the Munchbox one immediately, and I think the Yorkshire Pud one was a little bit harder to detect.
It must have been
damage was done.
It must have been quite a difficult conversation as well, because they're like known like around the village. Just like it's at some point you go and get your big Yorkshire pudding with all the roast dinner inside.
I mean, they're at all the festivals as well. Yep. So it's a shame.
They were.
That is a PR nightmare.
And I heard Sean Smith from Sapling Pod and Raiders and the Blackout ends up in hospital thanks to the beef brisket.
Yeah, actually,
you know,
on an IV drip.
You really have to try and give someone food poisoning to put them in hospital, didn't you?
I hope you're feeling better, Sean, if you're watching. Let's see what the people of the Ragamuffin Club had to say. If you'd like to join the discussion and get your comments read out on the podcast, head to the link below.
So Rob said he loved While She Sleeps, Royal Blood as his two main performances. Alpha Wolf and Sum 41 also good. Never listened to Dream State, The Hunter or Bleed From Within, but really enjoyed them. We'll be listening to them now. Mention about Dream State having the sound issues, but still being incredibly good with it. Matthew said Fall Out Boy smashed it. Also love Queens of Stone Age, Seen Queen, Make Them Suffer, Earn, Froze Mode, all fantastic sets. Sum 41 and Limp Bizkit, both epic sets. Edward sadly wasn't there, but he said FOMO thinks he's going to make and be there next year. Jareth said he loved the whole weekend. Shame about the mud. Friday standouts were Escape the Fate, Blackstone Cherry, Busted, and Funeral for a Friend. Saturday he had the Hunter, Babe Metal, Silverstein, and Sleeps, and Fall Out Boy. And Sunday he had Until I Wake, Sum 41, Limp Bizkit, and Fit for a King, who I was sad to miss.
Fit for a King, yeah, I was sad to miss Fit for a King.
He did say they stayed in RIP in one of the cabins and were very thankful they weren't in the tent, and they had a few friends messaging them on the Thursday saying they're already having issues with the weather with theirs. So, unlucky.
Ooh, cabin sounds nice.
Cabin does sound quite nice. Martin said he thought the event was great and some of the prior year issues were improved, although still seemed very full at times, which made it hard work moving around the site. Limp Bizkit,
that's worth mentioning. Like, allegedly the capacity was a lot less this year.
Still felt normal to me.
They shrunk down, though.
And I had my, like, I don't know how to phrase it, but, like, when they announced they were sold out, I was a bit like, yeah, you've not really, have you? You've just announced that you've sold out because it's close to the festival, you're taking the tickets off sale. But it felt full.
Said like Limp Bizkit, one of his stand-up bands. Shouts out some smaller bands like Calvin Louise, Atreyu of Mice and Men. Atreyu. Did you go and see Atreyu?
To mention Atreyu. Atreyu were really good.
Yeah?
Yep. They were, they played some new stuff early, which I didn't know, but then they played some fucking bangers, and I was like, oh yeah, baby.
You're happy with that?
Yep.
Max said he had an incredible time yet again. It said the mud was a nightmare, but didn't have any disasters. Just saps your time and energy dealing with it.
Did any of you else bump into Max as I did?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, I think we all saw Max at one point.
You saw him.
God bless you.
Traffic management was a big improvement. Going to understand the new camp and transport hub layout, but it wasn't great for him personally, coming on the shuttle and camping in Eco.
Yeah, he said he was camping in Eco, and it looked like they might have had a bit of a nightmare in there towards the end of the week.
He said there was tons on in District X, but it was miles from the majority of camps, so poor weather and being very tired kind of hampered that a little bit. Good to see more effort around the arena to create kind of like room goosenecking, so it means you can get through to places. So it did feel like you can make your way round.
I will say as well, we didn't really need them in the end because it wasn't very sunny for most of the weekend, but there was a lot more sort of sheltered spaces, I think.
100%, yeah. They kind of going off last year.
Yeah.
So the arena lacked toilets and the layouts were quite poor from it, especially by the Avalanche, which I do agree with. The positioning I think was really bad with where it was because it got slightly down a hill.
A busy time as people were queuing for the toilet and sort of queuing back up into the tent, it seemed.
Yeah. He said he had some great food from a few places and was happy with prices and the quality, which to be fair, for the most part, I found it fairly reasonable, to be honest.
Prices wise, I was surprised that it was as low as it was. I fully went in this year expecting it to be like 14 quid minimum for something that's actually going to fill you up. But yeah, you were looking at sort of between 10 and 13 pounds for like a good amount of food.
To be fair, in the bottom of Purple there was the like burger and hot dog place, and I had a beautiful hot dog for only $6.50, and it was fucking amazing.
It was one of the first things we had, wasn't it?
Yeah, very happy with that.
I will mention as well, like we've mentioned briefly about the co-op. It's just brilliant to
beautiful.
Download.
Oh, and big tip: get the membership card.
Yeah.
100% get the membership card.
And like honestly, like they could easily inflate the prices on most of the stuff, and they have in the past. But especially if you have a membership card, it's basically the same pricing as as your local co-op.
I was getting the 2 litre bottles of Pepsi Max Cherry. I think it was like $2.75 without the membership card. Yeah. £1.50 with the membership.
Banging.
The little breakfast yogurt pots, £1. Coffees, £1. Like the sausage rolls, it was like £2 for 6. Like they really were good with it this year.
I think it was like a £4 meal deal, which is the same as it is in your normal high street co-op as well. So
they've got the opportunity to really take the piss. But
and again, like this year, like obviously I didn't really take any beer with me. I took a few alcohol frees, but in terms of snacks and like soft drinks, I didn't take a single thing with me. I just went to the co-op when I got there and just like bought stuff there. And I was set for the weekend.
Didn't feel like you broke the bank just for
no, exactly. And it meant I only really bought what I needed.
Also, for a shout out to Fat Frank for your camping chair.
Yeah, Fat Frank sorted me out with the camping chair.
So we love Fat Frank.
I was comfy and dry for the weekend.
Shame they're not at trees in it.
Max did say that he had Friday highlights where he got middle barrier for highlighting a funeral for a friend. And having a full view of the stage is rare, and it was incredible. Saturday having a great run of Alf Wolf, Holding Absence, Billy Talent, Fallout Boy, who were probably his favourite headliner. And then Sunday, a bit like yourselves, thought Limp Bizkit stole the show, but also enjoyed Of Mice and Men.
Nice.
Laura, I read this one, and I feel sad for a lot of this, to be honest. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I've seen this one.
I haven't.
Overall, had a fantastic time at Download. Shane, Rob, and I didn't get to bump into you, but for the people that we did meet,
we'll meet you at some point, Laura. We seem to keep missing you. We've seen Rob at Slam Dunk.
She said it was her first full download. Rob's 5th. So the mud and rain was a true experience, which is very true. Sadly, though, their tent flooded on Saturday night / Sunday morning, so they had to sleep in the car before the final day. They were really tired and got in the car at 4:30 on the Sunday. Most of the bands that day gave us a huge morale boost. Favourites include Sum 41, Enter Shikari, Babe Metal, Make Them Suffer, Parkway. Their favourites like Creeper, Vicovi and Holding Absence also did amazing. Rob then added to Laura's comment and said, highs, bands were excellent despite some of the experiencing technical difficulties. Rob and Ramesh coming out to cover and Sandman was great. Mr. Bungle were hilarious. Queens of Stone Age being close up live was great when he makes up for when he saw them back of Wembley 11 years ago. Fulfilling a dream of seeing some of the bands that he really wanted to see for years. Sum 41, Shikari, Limp Bizkit. Holding Absence made him cry with Cursing With Your Kiss. Loads of great bands. Phone Signal was excellent for me all weekend, which is actually another one.
I completely forgot about that. This was the first year I never had any issues. Usually, as soon as it sort of gets a little bit busy, your signal drops out and you've got no internet and
phone
no signal
data.
I still didn't really have any internet, but
I had internet the whole time.
My actual like just texting signal was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
and,
on
and it
gift
made
gap.
it so much easier just to find each other.
He's on gift gap.
Apart from, and we've got to call this when we got the text from Alex at 7:30 in the morning on the Monday, being like, "Oh, I'm by the noodle bar watching Avenged Sevenfold." I was like, "I don't think you are, Alex."
Bit late.
The lows for this, there are some rough points here. The walk from car park to camp being fairly brutal. Mentioning again about their camping thing, having to move to the car. They had to abandon their bottle of Jack Daniels in the escape, so
Rest in peace, Jack Daniel.
rest in peace, that bottle of Jack. Thunderstorm during Baby Metal as well. Didn't enjoy that. The mud being impenetrable.
I thought the thunderstorm was quite fun.
Oh, it was.
It
I
was an
remember seeing lightning,
experience.
just being like
Yeah.
lightning.
It was a shame that it stopped the show, but it was like a little sort of like interval of like, now you're gonna get wet.
They made for good content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clashes are brutal, so wish I could have seen counterparts, but there was no way he was missing Machine Head. Food poisoning had him a bit paranoid on the Sunday. And yeah, overall happy though, beating traffic and having a great time.
Did he say that it was his fifth download?
His
one?
fifth,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, but it was Laura's
first. So,
Yeah,
nice
so
first experience.
don't let it put you off.
No, definitely it's a great festival.
These things just happen sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes you have a drown load.
Yes.
We were due
Or
one,
mud
to be
load.
fair.
Mm.
We had two drought loads in a row, basically.
Yeah, that is true. Fuck, I mean, that's Download Festival 2024 essentially, isn't
that's
it?
basically it.
All in all, I had a great time.
It was a good
Great time. Give me your favourite set you saw the whole weekend.
Limp Bizkit.
Do you want me to go back to you?
Limp Bizkit.
Shikari.
Busted.
Thought you were going to say Alpha Wolf.
I was close, but busted, man. That was my fucking childhood.
If you made it this far, subscribe because we're
Yeah.
gonna predict headliners for next year.
We are, so you can check that video out soon. And then also, if you haven't seen and you're just watching this, we've got all our vlogs. So check them out. If you weren't there, you can kind of live it through us and see the experience, or just go and watch it for some nice nostalgia and see some cool bands and some people having a lot of fun. Subscribe, like the video, comment down below if you're at Download. Let us know your thoughts. What do you enjoy? Favorite bands? Any things you didn't enjoy out of it? Are you going next year, do you think?
Let us know your highs and your lows.
Exactly. As I said earlier, join the Ragamuffin Club in the description below. It's a community we're building. We love talking about this with everyone. Sometimes the YouTube comment section just doesn't quite have that conversation that we want to have. So we've got the Facebook community. It's all free. Everyone loves free stuff. So join in. We can chat more about all this kind of stuff.
Thank you very much for having me, boys.
You're
Thanks
very
for
welcome.
coming.
It's been a
Always.
pleasure.
Pleasure as always. And yeah.
Nice one,
Good job, Glenny. Woo! And now you've got a lone creature.
Oh, don't make me do it.
Should we do it? Do you want to do it as an outro?
Yes.
For the outro?
You have to play it a
Now,
little bit louder
this
and play it into your mic.
just if anyone doesn't know, this came out because I bet that
Yeah.
James couldn't do it before we saw them next.
Yeah.
2 weeks later.
Så det du faire on peut de se faire du le que c'est mal que t'es ni mon na même couleur je peux le sentir brûler comme comme je peux le sentir faire de la monnaie je que c'est dans des démons différents je peux pas te vaguer de ser mais je te sais mon street mort que t'es la nez mais crie
And that's enough of that before we get copyright.
How
You're
annoying!
welcome.
How
Subscribe.
annoying! You
Je
know,
m'appelle.
That's worth a subscribe. Au revoir.
Je m'appelle.
bibliotech.
Merci beaucoup.
Stylo.
Mon frère.
Le stylo.
When does this end?
There, right, we're done. Close.
Le garlic baguette.